Welcome to the second episode of One Shot Presents. I'm Brick.
Howdy, I'm Tiger.
What are you wearing?
Figured since we were reviewing the Wolverine book this week, I'd dress a little more like Wolverine, spice up the show.
Wolverine, huh? Don't. Jeez. Anyway, welcome to One Shot Presents. And what we do here is we review comics and action figures.
And today we've got a pretty special grab bag. We're going to sit down with a local artist and talk about his comic book.
And we'll also be reviewing Persepolis and an action figure.
First thing though, we're going to review Logan by Brian K. Vaughn. Now, we've been fans of Vaughn since we first read his Escapist miniseries. He's best well known for Y the Last Man, Ex Machina, and Marvel's Runaways, but I've never read anything by him that I didn't like.
And what he's done in Logan is tackle one of the most popular Marvel characters, Wolverine, and I think he did a great take on it.
Yeah, it's a testament to his good writing. He took the most popular, most saturated character in comic books right now, and he actually made a refreshing story. Wolverine's in Japan during World War II, right before the Hiroshima bomb drops.
It's really cool, but one of the things that we really like about it is the art. It's by Eduardo Rizzo, and as you can see, they have a color version and a black and white version.
There you go. Yeah, the art is incredible. I mean, you look at these pictures and you want to get them tattooed on your arm. They'll blow your mind. They're great. I would give Logan probably about a 5.
I would also give it a 5. I recommend it highly. Go to your comic book store and pick up Logan.
I won't get to get what I'm after till the day I die.
For this week's grab bag, Tiger recently sat down with Trevor Nielsen, author of the Lily Maid. Where you going?
We're here today with Trevor Nielsen. We're at the Salt Lake City Library. He's a local artist, an all-around bad man. We're talking about his new comic, The Lily Maid. Trevor, tell us a little bit about yourself first.
My name is Trevor Nielsen. I was born in La Grande, Oregon. I grew up pretty much in Pocatello, Idaho. I moved down here the first time in around 1990, and from there I moved to San Diego to work with Bat and Lash, and I worked on his book, Supernatural Law, for about 5 years. At the same time I started developing this project. I moved back here about August of last year to pretty much pursue this full time.
So tell me a little about The Lily Maid. What was the original idea? How did it come about?
Originally I saw an old black and white silent picture about Joan of Arc and her trial, and that pretty much sparked the whole thing. I started coming up with this idea about doing a book about a very slight hero who was very, very small, who was female, who was pretty much relying on her wits to get her through just about everything. I started making little pieces of paper that would tell me what I wanted to see, and that's where it started getting really big. And I just kept going on that, and then I would write script that fleshed out these panels here. After that, I just started doing thumbnails, which pretty much showed me what I wanted to see on the page itself. I've done these on a larger size too. It's a 12 by 18 piece of illustration board, which is a much heavier board, so I could just really rough up the board. And once I did those, then I scan them and letter them and put all the text in. And
So in the meantime, how can people get a hold of you to learn more about The Lily Maid?
if they need to get a hold of me, they can just go to my Gmail account, which is nielsen.trevor@gmail.com. And always happy to answer any questions that they'll have.
Great. Well, thanks. We appreciate your time sitting down with us, and we hope to catch up with you again in another episode. But yeah, we appreciate your time.
Well, thank you very much.
Best of luck.
Oh, thanks.
People tend to hate me, 'cause I never smile.
For this week's action figure segment, I have picked Batman from the Black and White series. Now, normally we have action figures that, have articulation and all this stuff that you can pick up at Toys R Us or Walmart, etc. But this is a statue. It's a porcelain statue. It's based off of the Black and White comic, and this is Frank Miller's version. And it's a beautiful statue. When I saw this guy on a shelf, I had to pick him up. I mean, his detail is amazing, from his boots, his gloves, his utility belt, the rope. Since I haven't read the Black and White comic, I kind of base it off like a younger version of The Dark Knight Returns. He doesn't have the wrinkles, but he's mean and he's fierce and he's big. And I really love that about the statue. Batman happens to be my favorite superhero. And when I see him, I want to see this big one. Not the little gymnast that from older comics and stuff. Frank Miller really put a bold statement on this character, and this statue represents that. Batman's one of the coolest guys around anyway. I mean, you put this guy on the shelf, you're like, man, these people are cool. You can pick up the statue at your local comic book store. They retail for about $65. I've seen them as low as $48 on eBay. But, you know, he's worth every penny. Out of a 1 out of 5 rating, I say it's a 6.5. He's a beautiful statue. You should go pick one up.
All right, for this week's graphic novel review, it's going to be a little bit different. Now, normally when I read a graphic novel, it's because Brick recommends it to me, someone else from the comic book store recommends it to me. This one came through another channel that was kind of different. A good friend of mine attended the Cannes Film Festival. She saw a movie there that was based off this graphic novel. She raved about it, just kept telling me how much I needed to see it. I haven't got a chance to see it yet, but I went ahead and picked up the book. And the book is Persepolis by Marjane Satrapi. It tells the story of a young girl growing up in Iran during the Islamic Revolution. Now, right off the bat, I should tell you, if you're into, you know, zombies or superheroes or science fiction, this is more of a chick flick type of a comic. It's something that, you know, if you're into Superman, you're not going to dig this. At the same time, though, what I loved about it was it proves that comics are more than just something for kids. If you have someone who doesn't believe that, this would be a great jumping on point for them to try a comic book for the first time. Not only does she write it, it is an autobiographical piece, she also does the art. And as I said, it takes place during her childhood, and what's great about that is the artwork reflects that. It reminded me a lot of the Sunday funnies I used to read as a kid, you know, Calvin and Hobbes, Peanuts Gang, but it's definitely a beautiful book. But it has a lot of adult issues, it has a lot of great themes, and again, I think anybody could read this book and enjoy it. You don't have to have any knowledge of graphic novels, of comics, and you'd really like this book. I think it's, again, a wonderful story. The artwork is great. I'm going to give it a 5 out of 5.
Well, Crypto's tuckered out. I'm tuckered out, so that's the end of our show. Tiger would be here, but he's on a date. Anyway, tune in next week for our Secret Invasion special. Where you going, Crypto? Well, see you next week.